This is actually a pretty big moment of this week. This is something that really sparked me to make my Yoshi video, and I was kind of gathering evidence before Yoshi actually posted that he was going to be leaving The Chosen, et cetera, et cetera. And so this video here, they talk about how in this scene, all of the disciples are present, which includes Reza, right? Reza Daiko, who is the new Philip that we actually see here. This is one of the first times that we see Reza actually shown by the Chosen crew in an intentional way. This is the first week that Dallas has shown him in any of his Instagram lives. And so it gave us pretty concrete evidence as to what we're seeing there. But Chris actually says here that all of the disciples are present, which gave us that big hint there as well.
7, and we just want to welcome all of our new insiders with us from the 5 and 2 live stream yesterday.
Welcome. We're so excited you're here. If you look behind us right now, that's not just 1 or 2 disciples. That's like all of them and Jesus. We're shooting some pretty cool stuff today, and we're not allowed to tell you what it is.
But I'm going to tell you what it is, because I actually know where this scene is in Scripture and what's actually happening here. So let's continue on.
Are you intrigued? Are you intrigued?
I'm
you
intrigued.
Should be.
I am very intrigued, yes.
So here's the scene that we're talking about. This is a rehearsal for the scene. You're going to see everybody's like wearing sunglasses and they're wearing like little footies and stuff because it's hot and it's like, they want to cover up. And so there's actually scripture in this scene. If you listen very closely, I try to put the words on the bottom of the screen just like I always try to do. But if you listen very closely, you can hear the words that Jesus is saying here, and it pinpoints the section in scripture where we're actually going to be, and helps us to see a little bit more of where we're getting into here. So let's listen to this. So he says, "Are you able to drink the cup that I am drinking?
Or to be baptized with the baptism of which I will be baptized?
Or be baptized with the baptism of which I will be baptized?"
Really?
And then Big James begins to speak there, but it kind of cuts off before he finishes his sentence. I believe what he's going to say is "we are ready," or "we can," because that's what it says in Scripture. But we're going to get there in a second. First thing I wanted to point out is Reza Daiko, who is our new Philip. You can see him in the center of the screen right there, and I'll actually zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see that as well. And there is Reza, the new Philip here. Obviously looks quite a bit different, but you can tell by the outfit and the things that he's wearing, the headband and the neck scarf and the vest that he's wearing. This is the same Philip that we know. Now they're going to continue to write Philip as the same character that we've always known, because that's how it works. If you replace an actor, it doesn't mean that the character completely changes. Of course, small things are going to change. Mannerisms, accents may change, but the character in and of itself is going to be, the same character overall, for sure. Now, before we move on, let me kind of get into some of the Bible that I want to talk about here, and so basically, we've seen throughout the behind the scenes of season 4 that we're building up to specific things. One of them being Gaius' servant being healed. Another one being the influence of the Pharisees and the high priests and Caiaphas and everybody in that realm. Another one that we've seen amongst others is Salome beginning to be more irate that her sons are not as prominent as she thinks that they should be. Now, we've seen some behind the scenes of her talking to her sons and talking to them about Peter's name change, and she seems to be very upset. She's like, "So what are your new names? Like, haven't you done more for Jesus than, whatever else?" And she continues to like have this mentality of like, I want my boys to be the best that they possibly can. And we see this twice in Scripture. One of the times, Salome actually goes to Jesus herself, so we're going to read that one. But there is a second one in which Salome does not go to Jesus, but actually her boys go to Jesus and have this conversation with him. So let's read both of these and talk through this. So you guys can see that all right. We've got the request of James and John. So this is in Mark chapter 10, and we're going to start in verse 35. It says, "And James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came up to Jesus and said to him, 'Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you.'" Like, how much of a entitled sort of sentence is that? We want you to do whatever we ask of you, right? And he said to them, okay, what do you want me to do? And they said to him, grant us to sit one on your right and one on your left in your glory. Jesus said to them, you do not know what you're asking. So they're not fully aware of what's happening here, right? And he's like, you don't know what you're asking. And then he says, are you able to drink the cup that I drink, or to be baptized with the baptism of which I am baptized? Which is exactly the words that we hear in. It's exactly the words that we hear in the little clip that we just saw. I wanted to let you know that most people that watch our channel overall are not subscribed. Actually, about 70%, and on some videos it's vastly more than that. Some videos we get over 100,000 views, but we only have 30,000 subscribers. So it could really, really help us out if you just hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. So thank you very much. Let's get back to the video. And they said to him, we are able. And Jesus said to them, the cup that I drink, you will drink. And the baptism of which I am baptized, you will be baptized. But to sit at my right hand or to my left is not mine to grant, but it is for those whom it has been prepared.
Can't just be about money.
It's never not about
Thank you so much, Timothy. I appreciate that a ton. You rock as always. Way too generous. Thank you. And so as we continue with this verse, we see that Jesus is warning them. He's like, are you sure you can take on what I have, right? Are you sure you can take on the life that I've been given, the things that I've been asked to do? And they're like, yeah, of course we can. What are you talking about? And he's like, you don't know what you're saying. Like, you have no idea. And so there's this heavy moment. And then here's what happens afterwards. So, and when the 10 heard it, they began to be indignant at James and John. And Jesus called them to him and said to them, you know that those who are considered rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. So what is he saying? He's saying, you know that in the Gentile world, the rulers, they think that they're better than everybody else. But it shall not be among you. But whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be the first among you must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So this is the verse that I think the Chosen is going to lean more towards. We're going to read the other one, the other version of this. It's in Matthew chapter 20. But I think the Chosen is going to lean more towards this version because it seems as if this scene that we're seeing here in that small clip, it seems as if they're talking specifically about they're talking specifically to Jesus is what I'm trying to say. So it doesn't look like Salome is there. It looks like she's having this discussion with the boys behind the scenes, but then the boys are actually the ones that come and talk to Jesus. At least that's what it seems like. It's kind of hard to tell. But if we go to Matthew chapter 20, verse 20, we see that this is entitled A Mother's Request. And this is the same story, and it has the same similar lines, but it's kind of a different take on it, right? It's a different understanding or a different telling of it. And so the mother of the sons of Zebedee came up to him with her sons. So this time it's not just the sons that are approaching Jesus, but it's the mother as well. And kneeling before him, she asked him for something. And he said to her, what do you want? And she said to him, say these two sons of mine are to sit at your right and one at your left in your kingdom. Jesus answered, you do not know what you're asking. And again, we're seeing these similar things. It's the same story, but it's written through a different lens, right? You don't know what you're asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I am to drink? And they said to him, he's talking to the boys now, and they said to him, we are able. He said to them, you will drink my cup, but to sit at my right hand and at my left is not mine to grant, but it is for those whom it has been prepared for my Father. So, again, we're seeing that same thing repeated here. And the 10 heard it, and they were indignant to the two brothers, but Jesus called them, and he said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and the great exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you. So again, we're seeing these same themes. But it seems like in this scene, at least that we're looking at, that Salome is actually not present if we go back. So it looks like it's just the boys that are here and the 12 disciples and really nobody else. So if Jesus is saying this here, it looks like we're more focusing on the Mark 10 version of this story.
Are you able to drink the cup that I am drinking? Or to be baptized with the baptism of which I will be baptized?
So yeah, so that's the information that we get from that section, but it is really interesting, right? Like I love seeing these biblical moments play out and how everything kind of works within them for sure. Yes, so this is another thing. I'm glad you brought it up, Timothy. This is where I was going next. So Timothy says, I wonder if they will transition into the healing of Bartimaeus. So this is really interesting as well, because again, we know that Mark and Matthew, in this circumstance, they follow each other really, really closely, right? And so right after this verse here, we see what? We see the healing of Bartimaeus. Let me go here. Yep. So right after this, we see the healing of Bartimaeus, which we talked about before. And we talked about this because we saw that this the bigger black man that's blind, that's asking for alms, basically, he's asking for help. He is in this season that's upcoming. We haven't seen him since episode 1 of season 1. And so where could he be? Could he be in Capernaum? Sure. Could he be in Jericho? Sure. Yeah, someone could have moved him there to ask for more money in that district. And so now we're saying that could be in Jericho, it could be Bartimaeus, or it could be the man from Jerusalem that Jesus heals in the pool of Siloam. So there's an interesting thing that could be happening here. Now it does look like they could be in really any city here, as we're kind of looking at the background of this shot here. They could really be in any city, although it is in the set of Capernaum, and it definitely could be Capernaum here. And again, the Chosen moves around different things, so it could be that they're having these different events happen in Capernaum, and the blind man is in Capernaum, and it happens there. I'm not sure. There could be a bunch of other things. So, not 100% sure, but it wouldn't surprise me, because after these pieces of scripture that we've just read, right after both of them is a healing of blind men, right? So, of course, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's the case. So, yeah, great observation there, Timothy. I definitely agree. It definitely could be, for sure. If you like this small part of the stream, then you can watch the full entire 2-hour stream on our Patreon at patreon.com/thesnipelife. This is an amazing way that you can help to support us, and really the best way that we've found over the years. So if you want to support us over there, go to patreon.com/thesnipelife and sign up for $5, $10, or $25. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.